this is a program that was developed out of necessity. As Michael said when he introduced me, there's nothing I'm going over here that's theoretical. Every single thing I'm going over are all things I've had to do myself in order to get the results that I wanted, either in the companies I personally ran or in the clients that I've had to help and serve. Okay, so these 6 steps of time management came from a period when I was just totally overwhelmed, and I kept going to time management courses. And one course I went to, they wanted me to track what I was doing with my time for 3 months to figure out where I was wasting or burning time. And my reaction to that was, if I had the time to do that, I wouldn't need time management. So this is like 30 minutes flat, and it's everything you ever need to know about time management. But more important than what it does for time management is it teaches how to run a company for maximum productivity. This takes 5 minutes a day. That's it. It's 5 minutes a day, but it's the discipline all day to make sure that you're using it all day that makes the big difference in how effective you're going to be. So, you know, the easy part is the 5 minutes it takes to set up your day. The hard part is sticking to it, and I'm going to give you all kinds of tricks and tools for that as well. So they say it takes 21 days to create a new habit. If you could commit to these 6 steps over the next 21 days, it can make a profound difference in your life. So, number 1, touch it once. They say that the average office worker spends 1 month per year rereading the same information without taking action. And that study was done before the advent of email, right? I mean, email can be a great asset. I mean, tremendous asset. I do so much with email. It's amazing. But it can also kill you if you don't control it. If it controls you, you're in big trouble. You need to control it. That's what makes the difference. So I don't even, you know, I don't know how your software program works, but in mine, the email is a darker, bolder color until you open it, right? You guys mostly have that? So I don't even open it until I know I can deal with it. And that explains some of my clients in the room, like, it might take a day or two to get an answer from me on something because I'm not going to open it until I can deal with it. So same thing with papers. You know what it's like. You come in, you got all this work, you look at something, you read it, oh yeah, I got to deal with that, but not now. And you actually waste a month of your life a year doing that. It's amazing. So if you touch it, take action with it. That's the first step to great time management. Create a file. Files for your desks, files for your briefcase, you name it, you should have a file for it. Let's talk about your computer organization. Like I said, in order to help 10 companies a week, I have a big folder, big giant thing, and it's got the 10 companies in them. And of course, I have things really highly organized on my desktop. So, and this is just me because I can't tell you what to do for you, but I have files for everything. So I have the client name, and then I break it down. There's presentations, promo pieces, direct mail, work in progress, workshops, and then under workshop I have first workshop, I have CRM initiative. I just keep adding files. So that when I open up a file, I can find stuff really, really fast. So organizing yourself in a way that everything is filed, and again, if it's a paper world, and we just moved so away from that. I've been teaching this thing for 15 years. So 15 years ago, there wasn't email, there wasn't the internet, and people didn't even start using computers, really, you know, until the mid-90s, not like we do today where everybody relies on one. But it made a huge difference in my world once I started to realize how important those files were. So even in my briefcase, I have files of all the things I have to do, and I don't even have to tell my assistant where to put my travel information. I have a travel file. And so she knows when I'm going on a thing. We don't even have to talk about it. I know when I'm going, I get to the airport, I pull the travel folder out of my briefcase, and there's all my travel information right there. So the more you can file, you know, and organize your life so that you're, you know, you can be on things when you need to be on them and off of them when you don't need to be on them. And so you have a file of work in progress. You have a file for every little thing. It really makes a difference. The same is true for email files. Touch it once, pass it on. If you touch it, take action. So you can create a file, you can write a memo, or post it, again, in a paper world, so most of us don't even deal with that anymore. Post-its are, you know, given away to email. But what's great about email is you can pass it on. It's a wonderful, just a wonderful thing. Pass it on to the boss, pass it on to a subordinate, do your thing with it, and then pass it on. Let's talk about email. The reason email is not treated with respect is because there's too much irrelevant email. So one of the keys to great management of your email is great sentences. So you know what I'm saying? You send somebody an email that says, the upcoming gorilla event. And then they send it back and they go, yeah, I'm going to go, and by the way, did you get the, the thing worked out with Bill, our client? And then the email comes back again and it still has gorilla event in the subject, and now we're talking about a client in the same email. It's a completely different subject. So now, have you ever had this happen to you? Now you need to go back and find that email, and there's 7 of them with the same stupid subject. So change the subject as you go. But any client of mine in the room knows what I'm talking about. I am really like a stickler at it. I'll yell at them for it. Don't send me one with the subject that has nothing to do with the content of the email. And it's the same with me. You get an email from me, it's got great subjects, right, Lisa? Big on the subjects, so that I can look at it and make a decision, do I need to open this now? So force that company policy. The subject must have to do with what the content of the email is, and everybody must adhere to this. And if the content of the email changes, the subject changes. So that now you don't have 7 emails with the same subject. You've got 7 emails with 5 different subjects, and you can find what you're looking for right away. Again, just trying to help you manage and maximize your productivity and your time. What are you doing to keep your email under control? I'll talk about that in a moment. It can be the death of good time management. Companies that have emails constantly sounding when they come in put every person in a reactive mode all day long. So you'll see, I'm going to show you how you plan time for the emails. It makes such a huge difference. If that thing is going ding, 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 and you stop what you're doing and go check the email, that is a reactive person. That's not a great way to run a company and to react. And I know those people because I send them an email, I get an answer right away. I send them 3 or 4 emails, I get 3 or 4 answers right away. Yeah, I can guarantee you that won't happen when you send me an email, because I'm not living by my email. My email does not control me, I control it. And it's for my convenience, and when it's not convenient, I don't answer it. So do not answer it every time it comes in. Set times in your day. Electronic communication vastly improves productivity. I already said this, but not if you allow it to control you. All right? And step number 2, make lists. How many people make lists? Who has really long lists? Anybody here in the room? With the white shirt on the back? Or how long is your list? Just give me how many items.
Probably 15 to 20.
And then you with the goatee? 50? Okay. Here's what happens with lists like that. There's a big problem with those lists. Many people make lists as a way of keeping organized. That's a good thing. If you don't have lists, who doesn't keep a list, to-do list? Let me tell you, want to double your productivity? Just keep a to-do list. Joe Rizan. But like this. Okay. How many items on your list, because that makes a huge difference. Stick to the 6 most important things. That is the key to really being productive. What you'll find is that when you have these long lists, you end up having the list becomes the management tool for your time. Because you go to your list, you've got 50 items on it. If you want to feel productive, let's just go and pick something to take care of. Ooh, that feels good. But the most important things every day never get done. So forget the long list. It's the death of time management. When you have a long list, you'll generally do the non-productive tasks just to trim the list. You'll be amazed at how much more you can accomplish if you don't do that. At the end of the day, you'll find that most important things on your list didn't get completed. There's a tremendous psychological boost. If you get that 6th thing and you cross it off at the end of the day, it's just a great feeling of accomplishment, especially when all 6 of them are the most important things. So let's do that exercise right now. Write down the 6 most important things, you can tell. 6 most important things you have to do when you go to the office on Monday. Write them down right now. What are the 6 most important things? I'm going to show you how to do this. And you know what? Start with a clean sheet of paper, because I want to show you the exercise on a clean sheet. At the top of your paper, there will only be 6 things you have to do. Now, just hold up for a second. I had somebody say to me, our manual is too complicated and we need to redo our manual, and if I spend about 15 hours on this, I could really change that manual, and it would make a huge difference in how our clients interact with us and their experience that they're having with us. And the problem is, when you have a big thing like that, is you tend not to ever work on it, because it's a big thing. It's going to take 15 hours. The secret to being productive is put that thing on your list, but I'm going to show you how to plan little chunks of time, but you're going to incrementally move that project forward. So on your list of 6 things, you can have some big project that normally is 15 hours. I'll show you in a few slides how to make that, at least start chipping at that in little tiny pieces. So it's okay to have big things on your list that are not realistic for you to get done. Just put them down there. 6 most important things for Monday. Okay, now, here's the second step. Oh, and here's just another little thing. I keep a side list as things come up, because in addition to your, again, if you're like me and you help 10 companies a week, and most of you have plenty of responsibilities that you have to do, I keep a separate to-do list. And so as things come up that I can't put on the 6 most important things for today, I keep this little side list of things that have to be done. Those are actual things on my plate right now. Okay, so now the third step to time management, there's only 6. Now what I want you to do is not plan when, do not plan when. On the 6 things, I want you to put how much time you're realistically going to allocate to those 6 things on Monday. How much time you realistically, so next to the thing, write 1 hour, 60 minutes. In fact, make it like that, make it minutes. 60 minutes, 15 minutes, 25 minutes. Sometimes really important things only take 5 minutes and you keep putting them off. So write it down next to those items, how much time you're going to spend. Not when, that's a separate step. Do not plan your day yet. These are simple steps and they change everything. Okay, so how much time?
2.25 hours.
2.5 hours. And are those 6 things really important?
3 of the 6 are.
And if you got them done in one day, is that a good day?
It's a great day.
Okay, how about you?
9 hours.
9 hours. It's too much. Not going to happen. You need to trim that down, and I'll show you why in a minute, okay? How about
6 hours.
6 hours, okay? And is it a good day?
Yeah, great day.
Have you got it all done? You feel good? Okay?
3 hours and 15 minutes.
And it's a good day? Okay. And that's what happens is most of us don't actually get the really productive tasks done, but it really changes everything when you do. Okay, so now let's plan the day, but here, let me just fill some of this in here. Oh, actually, go ahead and plan it, then I'll teach you something else. I'll show you the mistake you're all going to make in planning your day. There's a couple of things I want to point out to you. See, we've planned in check email. We plan that into the day. In my day, if that's not planned into my day, I don't check my email. I am not in a reactive mode responding to the little bling bling of the email. I check it when it's in my day and when it's scheduled. The other thing is there is in here miscellaneous meetings, got a minutes. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Somebody comes to your door and say, hey, you got a minute? Well, you don't got a minute until 10:30 because that's when it's in your schedule. And I'm going to talk about how powerful that is. So got a minutes, miscellaneous, and email is planned into the day. So if you didn't plan that into your day, that's not a realistic day, and you're not going to get it done. That's why I said 9 hours. No way you're going to get 9 hours worth of highly productive items done. But if you can give a little bit of time to each one of those things, and every day you do it and move it forward, it becomes profound. So summary so far, touch it once, take action, list the 6 most important tasks, allocate how much time, and then plan when. That's what we've covered so far. So if you look at your list, let me ask, where did you put the most important item on your list? End of the day? Beginning of the day?
Beginning of the day.
Okay, good. Most people, it's the end of the day. Why? You know what? It's the hardest thing you have to do. So the next rule is the most important things are often the most difficult, so get them done. Get them done first, you know. Get the hardest things done first. Another trainer who teaches time management calls it eating the crust first. So the rest is just pie. Okay? Okay. Now let's look at your list. On this manager's list, the contract was the single most important thing. Get the harder projects done first. So that's step 5, is prioritize and do the most important things first. Get them out of the way. When I was running all those magazines and newspapers, there were these big things that made all the difference. And prior to utilizing these techniques, which I'm showing to you, that stuff had to get done at home. It got done on the weekends. It got done on the nights. I couldn't even think about getting that stuff done at the office. So this is what they say. Only 20% of your effort brings 80% of the results. And you know, have you ever had one of those people who's like really busy? And they're so busy all the time. And you look at the productivity, it's really low. It's what I call busy work. So a lot of people are super busy, but their results are very low. Who knows what I'm talking about? You've had someone working for you, are really busy, but they actually don't produce a lot of results. There are people like that. And so for those people, this becomes critical. This whole technique becomes really, really critical. What would happen if 80% of your time was focused on results-producing items? So time spent on productive items is only 20%, and time spent on non-productive activity is 80%. Conceivably, if you could flip-flop those, you could get a 4-time increase in productivity. That's why I said I taught this program on a Monday. My staff tried it on a Tuesday. People even came to me and said, you know, this is the most productive day I think I've ever had, and by Friday, nobody's doing any of it. But then here's the difference. On Monday, I taught it again. And the following Monday, I taught it again. And then I walked around and I wanted to see that little worksheet you did. I want to see that for every employee. And now with email, it can just be sent around and supervisors can look at it. People respect what you inspect. So now, when I'm trying to get a company to adapt the whole company to managing their time more effectively, the supervisors have to go around and look at everybody's list and what they're doing. Now, what about people who are in administrative, reactive tasks? You know, who your whole job is to respond to activities rather than create them. Well, you know, it's the same for them. They need their 6 things that they want to get done. They try to plan their day the best they can, but their times of working on these things would be shorter because the majority of their time is in a reactive mode. Here's number 6. Will it hurt me to throw this away? I use the same exact philosophy for the emails and electronic files. I throw at least 80% of that stuff away. Because you know what? 80% of all filed information is never referred to again. So how do you prioritize and how do you decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to throw away? You throw away everything, practically, and ask that question. You know what? If I really needed this again, can I get it? And again, if you're a boss, that means yes almost all the time because somebody on your staff will be able to get it for you. So, and I know that makes you crazy. I'm seeing my assistant going, oh, that's what he's doing. That's why I always have to find those things. But there's not that many because, you know, you can prioritize and you know what you're going to need again and you know what you can throw away just if you ask that question. Will it hurt me if I throw this away? Okay, so let's talk about, you know, the minute-by-minute manager or the got-a-minute manager. Remember the one-minute manager, that best-selling book? Well, most of us are what we call the minute-by-minute manager where you run the entire company in got-a-minutes. Most managers are minute-by-minute managers. They do not manage their time, nor do they insist on the same from the staff. Thus, most managers are in a reactive mode all day long. These managers have to work a lot of unnecessary hours because the important stuff never gets done. You want to be accessible to your people. You'll help them much more if you force them and you to plan things. So you have to imagine this. Again, I discovered this epiphany came when I was running 9 companies. And what kind of people would you expect me to hire? Bright, smart, clever, you know, in my face all the time trying to get some new thing. And my whole day was got-a-minutes. I didn't even try to get anything productive done at the office. I just didn't even try. I would go in and react so the important big things that made the differences in the company would get done on the weekends and the nights. I remember, I think I actually say it in here. This is a house cleaning example that even if you sat down and you had to clean your house, there was some study that was done that showed that a wife who says, yeah, I'm cleaning the house today, and just kind of milly-mallied through the day, it took all day to clean a 3-bedroom house, and versus if the woman sat down and planned exactly what they were going to do and when, they could do it in 3 hours. Literally, 8 hours worth of work done in 3 hours. So here's reactive traits. Manager is always accessible and open to interruptions. This doesn't force anyone to be well organized. Let me just tell you, this is secrets of billionaires here, guys. When you've worked for billionaires, you think you call up Charlie Munger and say, hey, Charlie, got a minute? You call his assistant, you get on his calendar, you are prepared when you get in front of him, you know what you're going to say, you go right to the point. That's how, if you each treat yourselves that way and your time that way, you're going to get a massive impact on your productivity. Few formalized meeting. That's another reactive trait. Anyone can interrupt anyone else anytime for any reason. That is a reactive organization. Few formalized policies and procedures so that the wheel must be created each and every time. When meetings are held, there are no assigned goals, deadlines, or tasks. These are rules of great, well-run companies. These managers function at about 25% of their potential efficiency, and that's most managers, which is why you don't have highly productive organizations. The minute manager does not plan their day. Instead, they are reactive all day. The minute-by-minute manager runs their department or company by got-a-minute meetings, and they do not manage their time, nor do they require anyone else to do the same, and so the entire active office is in a reactive mode. A proactive office, the manager sets the schedule each day with specific times for miscellaneous meetings and interruptions. So I'm working in these 9 companies. I come back from that 0 to 100 million program. I put out a memo that says, do not come to my office anymore and ask me if I got a minute, because the answer will be no. I run 9 companies. Here's what they are. Here's the time schedule that I will meet with these 9 companies. That's it. And if it's urgent and must be dealt with that day, then you can come and interrupt me. And if it's urgent and can wait an hour, I'm going to put 2 periods of time outside my door every day that you can come and interrupt me. And anyone who's worked for me knows Lisa and another company, right? We had it right outside the door. People had to sign on for their got-a-minute meetings. And I built that into my day. And the rest of my time was highly productive getting stuff done. Cover that in a moment. So employees are expected to meet weekly and to have specific agendas. Unless urgent, employees keep running tally of discussion items with boss. It was the other thing that went out with that memo was a little pad that said with Chet. So I put this memo out on a Thursday. I never forget, because on Friday it was the first day in my entire career of running all these companies that virtually no one came to my door. And I felt like going around and interrupting people because I didn't know what to do with all that time. I'm serious. I mean, I was literally like, you sure you don't need a got a minute there, bud? Because, you know, I couldn't conceive of at the office working on the marketing calendar or working on the new greatest strategic objective or working on the promotional piece or the trade show brochure. These were all big think projects where I would do them at home. And so this changed my whole life, just these 6 things. It was just amazing. Proactive office, a manager has highly proactive schedule each day. A manager expects and inspects each employee to do the same. So you want to get this working in your company, you've got to go around and look at those time management sheets. So we'll give you a worksheet, but it's pretty much what you wrote down there. In the beginning of trying to get this to really work in your office, you must police it through the organization. Hold workshops on the material, get deeper and deeper. Ask the employees what they think they can do. So again, I'm telling you, the ways to really get this going is to sit down with your people and say, look, how can we get this implemented? You'll get some great ideas. I had another company where they put it on the web, and they actually created a little web software program. They were a technology company, where now everybody goes on the web so that any supervisor can go on and look at any employee's task and then send an email saying, what's this doing on here? And by the way, you want to get a real eye-opener? Go around and inspect your employees' to-do lists and see what they think is the most important things they need to get done that day. They're pretty shocking sometimes. The epiphany secret of billionaires. Boy, I just said this whole thing. No longer come to my door and ask if I've got a minute, because the answer will be no. And again, when I met with Charlie, you had to set the appointment. You had to have a tight schedule. The meeting was fast-paced and highly productive. It was a really profound experience. As a result of this memo, I had nothing to do all day. So here's a proactive mode. Weekly departmental meetings are held without fail. Staff is asked to hold ideas unless it needs to be answered on the spot until the weekly meetings, and that takes discipline. So when you first implement this, people will come and say, hey, you got a minute? Go, you know what? That can wait to the weekly meeting. And that makes the weekly meetings even better. Remember, I told you a lot of people abandon doing the weekly meetings because they don't get much done, and they throw out the baby with the bathwater. It's just about having a great meeting. Ideas are discussed in the weekly meetings. The manager always has an agenda, which is proactive for the meeting. So even you should have some agenda items, and if you just keep a running tally of what you did last week, you'll incrementally improve the company. Tasks, deliverables, and strictly enforced deadlines are assigned. Manager allocates an hour per day in which he or she will take got-a minutes. Could be a half an hour. Or 2 half-hour segments is always good. Staff plans their day and works their plan. So here's a manager's day. Let's lay this out for you. 8 to 8:30, plan day. Have a quick look at staff's plan. 8:30 to 9, check email. 9 to 9:30, work on strategy, overcome our new most frequently heard objection. 9:30 to 10, create a standard promotional piece to overcome that objection. 11 to 12, got-a minutes, email, miscellaneous. So there we're handling everything that we have to do. Lunch with important client, proposal review, got a minutes, email, and miscellaneous. Again, from 2 to 3. This is probably somebody with a bigger company. Review our 7 months of marketing for the month. Work on the better systems I was working on. Meet with the marketing department. If you look at this day, there's 2 reactive periods in the day. The whole rest of it is all proactive. That's the way your day should be laid out. So that's really how you'll get it done. It'll make all the difference. So now let's go over salesperson's day, because this came up. plan, make phone calls. So from 8:30 to 10:30, make phone calls, set appointments, follow up on at least 6 hot prospects, make cold calls. Miscellaneous, because you know stuff's going to happen, it's going to get you pushed off your schedule. So everybody, when you plan your day, you need to have those miscellaneous times built in there because you know you're going to get interrupted. Lunch with client, write follow-up letters, sales call to presentations with clients, 3:30 to 4:30, emails, miscellaneous meetings. This is actually not a good salesperson day because it says right here, and it's not even in this day, a salesperson should spend at least 2.5 hours per day prospecting for new clients. The best will spend 4. So just giving you some kind of gauge, in that salesperson's day should be at least 2.5 hours doing a rainmaking, bringing in the business, prospecting, looking at new business. The best will spend 4 hours a day. And more than that is probably not realistic unless you just started today and you have nothing else to do in your day. Reactive tasks, paperwork should be grouped together, done all at once. After interruption, salesperson goes back. So you know you've got 2 or 3 miscellaneous time periods built into your day. When the interruptions come, you just go back to your schedule, and that's where people get messed up. Interruptions come, you let the whole thing go out right out the window. When the interruptions come, you go back to that day. It makes a huge difference. So list the 6 most important things. So in summary, how long will each task take? Organize when. Here's the steps, by the way. Stay on schedule as much as possible. When something interferes with your schedule, go back to your list and stay on schedule. That's the key.
This was a Chet Holmes International production.